And this led us to want to try to see, how else could we do this? So we decided we wanted to take the SAS out into the wild, right? So we took situational awe scale into the wild. And what we did is we teamed up with some great researchers at the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago. And we decided that we were going to use measure individuals' awe while they were experiencing a couple different areas in the museum. So we tested people in 3 different areas. The first area, or one of 3 areas, I should say. The first area that we tested people at was what is the rotunda of the MSI, right? And so the rotunda is the center of the museum, and it gives off this sense of vastness from one taking the escalator up from the lower floor and viewing the height of the rotunda as they're coming up. So you come up this escalator right down the bottom and you enter this vast, beautiful building of marble and what it is, and you feel your sense of smallness as you walk in there. So that was this one area we thought would be very awe-inducing. The second area we thought would be the German U-505 exhibit that puts you face to face with an authentic German U-boat from World War II. And it has you walk all the way around from bow to stern of the boat. And as you're walking around, you can see what the war did to this boat, and you could see the experience of this. And so while both of these areas induced senses of vastness, right, the way we thought awe would be felt was different, right? For instance, we thought for the rotunda, awe would be felt in this kind of aesthetic beauty, in this kind of positive way. But we thought that awe would be felt in the U-505 would come more from this history behind the World War II and the capturing of the U-boat. And as you're walking around, you see bullet holes in the U-boat. So you can see what this is and you get that negative sense. And so we thought that these would be different experiences. And just as for information, our third area that we did for this analysis was the garage. We tested the parking garage and how much awe people experienced in the parking garage. We just, that's a good kind of control. Now, when we measured the DPAS in these 3 different areas, we saw that individuals didn't differ in their amount of awe that they experienced between the garage, the rotunda, and U-505, which again makes sense. If the DPAS measures your dispositional amount of awe, it doesn't matter what you're experiencing, you're going to have the same amount of awe in every area. However, when we use the SAS in these different areas, we see that the SAS in the rotunda, right, makes a stronger connection than the garage. We see connection comes out more in the rotunda than it did in the garage. We see that chills, people have more awe associated with chills in the rotunda than they did the garage. And we see in terms of the U-505, people have this stronger sense of connection, again, to the U-505 than they did before. So again, this felt this closer sense of who I am, my own identity. Now I'm just going to go ahead and finish up here. Summarizing, understanding this experience of awe through a measure can be dependent on the type of measure that's being used, right? If you use a certain type of measure, you may be missing out on other things. And so it's important to understand what you want to understand about awe to know what kind of measure to use. And lastly, I'll say awe is an emotion that's made up of many different facets. Not only helps us make sense of the world around us, but also allows us to become stronger from those experiences that we do not or cannot understand. I just want to thank my mentor and advisor, Kimberly Quinn, for helping me with all this research and doing a lot. Sheila Crodesperson, who's also presenting in panel 6 today, who's going to be presenting on awe and environments, and Museum of Science and Industry. Thank you for all their work.